and across the ring in the blue corner. He is unbeaten.
Moses Itauma is the real deal, folks. He hits with the type of ferocity that most heavyweights would kill to possess.
Next trade. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge, John Swanson, along with the world.
And there's a reason why he's quickly becoming the most avoided fighter of his era. Itauma is one of the youngest ranked fighters in the sport. He hits like a train, and he moves like a middleweight.
The elbows, look how wide the elbows are. You gotta be careful there, because
in this video, we're showing the young phenom's career highlights, which will remind you of a prime Tyson when watching it. This is Fighting is Art. Let's go. Marcel Bode was the fighter given the unlucky task of welcoming Moses to the pro ranks. And boy, did he have a nightmare out there. You could feel the tension in the air as Itauma stalked his prey, knowing full well what was about to happen.
Let's see how he reacts.
And when he finally struck, that first shot clearly had an impact. But it was the second that was the beginning of the end.
But only on the junior circuit, an amateur, and there.
Where is it? It didn't come.
Nothing came!
Some increasingly loud part of Bode's brain must have been telling him to quit there and then.
For Marcel Bode.
But in the end, the power of Itauma left it entirely out of his hands, marking his debut performance with a 24-second knockout.
Yeah.
He didn't even land cleanly, but it was still devastating enough to put Bode down, and once he was down, his body refused to get back up.
Where is it? It didn't.
That is a rare kind of power, folks, even by heavyweight standards.
Oh, look at this. Wait, hold up.
And even though none of them would openly admit it, the heavyweight division's elites were probably watching this one with real interest. Next up for Moses was Ramon Alberto Ibara, a fighter who was doomed from the very start. Although he didn't know it yet, Itauma dwarfed him in terms of size. And as we'd soon find out, he had him beat in pretty much every other department too.
Very clean. Set cells all the time.
weeks ago, Moses Itauma took...
Itauma didn't need to do much to get the win here, but every violent statement is a good statement.
23 seconds to get his first professional win with a punch that landed on the glove of Marcel Bode at Wembley and still left him somewhere in orbit.
And from the get-go, he began to stalk his prey, threatening Ibara with more power than he had ever experienced.
It's this inexperienced Argentine, Ramon Ibara.
The last thing Ibara needed at this moment was to get trapped up against the ropes, but Itauma was already making it happen.
Very explosive, isn't he, Itauma? Very well skilled, great amateur pen.
Once he found his moment, he did not waste any more time before striking forth. And you'll notice this is a common theme through his career.
Right away on that front foot. Oh, what a shot!
There he goes. First.
Ibara looked like he had been hit by a hammer, and while the ref did him the courtesy of a 10 count, it was never truly needed.
Back on the canvas, and it looks as though he's about to be counted out.
This was easy work for Itauma, and he looked almost disappointed that his opponent wasn't able to give him a better fight.
Well, I think it was...
Next up for Itauma was another opponent that would be swept aside in truly easy fashion. Now, 4-0 as a pro, Itauma was on the verge of getting at least some sort of step up in competition. But first, Amin Busetta was in his way. But not for long. Moses' killer instincts were getting better and better with each passing fight.
With the youngest ever world heavyweight champion, to do that, he's got to keep winning and winning well.
Itauma had just earned some invaluable experience by taking 2 opponents to a decision in a row, but you could tell that he was back on the hunt for a KO here.
Cheer, planting his feet and looking for big punches, working the body also. There, that whipping right.
Then, out of nowhere, Itauma nailed his target with an uppercut that came out of nowhere, nailing Busetta right on the chin.
It's the 5th time we've seen him in the ring this year. Oh, left uppercut!
Jab through,
and then look at that for a left uppercut. So the jab actually sets up the
The ref did opt to let him continue, perhaps against his better judgment, because he did not survive long.
Won't be in there for much longer. Great punch from Itauma. Still 90 seconds in the round to go, and in goes the towel, down goes.
We'll remind you that this guy was still a teenager at this point in his career.
This exciting teenager who gets another stoppage.
What a peach of a...
Hungary's Istvan Bernat was up next for Itauma, a very experienced amateur boxer who had recently turned pro. It was clearly a step up in competition, but would that matter at all in the face of power like his?
The best of Thibaut. Touch gloves.
Well, the fans wouldn't have to wait too long to get an answer. And, spoiler alert, it would not work out well for the older fighter.
Professional contest, and starts with a sharp jab to the body in keeping.
Even in the early exchange, the body language of Bernat was not good. It was almost as if he didn't believe in himself.
Arian based his professional career in the United States. 10 wins in his first defeat coming last time.
And once Itauma sprung forth, he drew first blood, which came as no surprise to anyone watching.
Very rarely is he off balance. The hand speed evident already. Lovely right jab. That scalp, look at that, it's just a short.
Bernat looked like he had been hit by a train, but to his credit, he got back to his feet, attempting to shake off the cobwebs and give it one last go.
5, 6, 7, 8.
But Moses knew he could hurt him now, and his confidence skyrocketed.
In this time, and Bernat will do well to last around here. We're still well over it.
Eventually, the ref was left with absolutely no choice but to call the fight off there and then. And we have to say, it was the right call. No one needs to see a fighter try to break through an unbreakable barrier.
From Moses Itauma and Bernat, it seems has had enough, and it's all over.
Pro fight number 7 for Itauma was a collision with an opponent who would very quickly learn about the levels that exist within this heavyweight division. Bolas looked pretty comfortable and confident in there early on, but trust us, that would not serve him well. Itauma clearly went out there looking to get the job done quickly, which would have been a problem perhaps if he didn't have a perfectly vulnerable opponent in front of him.
His career just as well in this case, because until Tuesday night they were in against a...
Seriously, Itauma was fighting like he left his house without remembering to turn off the stove.
And the question is how long he can stay.
This one was never destined to last long, and even in these early exchanges, you could see Bolas's will to survive breaking.
And a fast start indeed from Moses Itauma.
The sheer violence on display here from Itauma was on a different level. It's as if he went out there specifically to do harm.
That's a great left hook. He's gone.
That punch completely ruined Bolas's balance, and he never recovered.
Counter it, didn't he? But Itauma, speed was there.
Tried to find an angle or two.
Bolas was completely and utterly outgunned in this one, and Itauma knew it from the very first second.
Bolas backward in a straight line, inviting the trouble. He's brave, but he's completely outgunned. It has to be stopped quickly, and it's stopped very...
Taking a fight with Moses Itauma on just a few days' notice is like signing your own death warrant. We gotta give credit to Dan Garber, of course, but man, that's a tough assignment for anyone.
Step back immediately, keep your punches up, obey my commands, you can set yourselves at all times. Good luck to you both, gentlemen.
For as much as his fighting spirit cannot be denied, he was walking to the gallows, not to a fight.
Great amateur and very young. So Dan Garber's come in very late notice, hasn't he? So
Itauma was several levels above his opponent here, but thankfully this would not take long.
His fight on Monday, so fair play to him. His hands are getting quicker. He's got destructive power, and he's having a real thought there, Mark.
Moses isn't paid by the minute, and so he stepped up the pace at the right time in order to get this one done.
left-hand counter as Garber comes forward, made the mistake, and Itauma just catches him with the...
And when he started moving downhill, it was damn near impossible to stop him.
left hand indeed.
Still around a minute to go in the first.
Eventually, the ref disappointed any bloodthirsty fans in the audience by calling the fight off, and we can sympathize.
Clubbing left, and the referee referee's having a look again and he calls it advantage.
Was the stoppage a little early? Sure. On paper, yes. But when you consider what the ref just saved Garber from, we totally get it.
Garber can do to keep him off, and Moses Itauma gets another first-round stoppage.
You know, Garber may think that he could have gone on, but I'm not going to argue.
Mario Schwo is a fighter who has shared the ring with Vladimir Klitschko, Dillian White, and Alexander Povetkin, to name but a few. But even though Wach was old and weathered, Itauma was still facing a very experienced opponent.
Any major risk, but
Itauma was clearly not troubled by his opponent's depth of schedule, and instead, he just went out there and did his thing in violent fashion.
And he isn't in a hurry. I want a step-by-step approach, he said. And that was a little open. Down the line, and he goes.
I mean, we know where Wach's at.
Itauma was gearing up for the finish as soon as he got comfortable in round one. And once he did start building, there was virtually no way to stop him.
Feel the power, delivered the power, and he might end this before the end of this.
There would be no veteran savvy springing the upset in this fight. No, Moses was the one with all of the advantages here, and he did not take long to put them to use.
In fear in the eyes of that since the start of this fight, and he cannot.
In the second round, it became obvious that Moses was in total control here, happy to step up his pace at any moment, hunting to Wach's suspect chin.
He cannot fend his man off, and the referee is going to stop it, and rightly so. That was taking considerable punishment.
Itauma was just too sharp, too fast, too powerful, and all the experience in the world couldn't save Wach from his fate.
The most exciting man in British boxing at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, I just made a statement.
If one thing was made abundantly clear by this fight, it was that Moses was very ready for a new level of test to close in on the elite of the elite at heavyweight.
Continental Heavyweight Champion, Moses Itauma!
The aura that Moses Itauma was starting to carry with him to the ring was becoming very, very clear. Would Dempsey McKean be the one to stop him? Well, he was by far the most impressive and skilled fighter that Itauma ever fought.
To win international titles.
But generational talents like Itauma don't tend to be troubled by a step up in competition every now and then.
A tall, decent man in front of him is Dempsey McKean with ambition of his own rebuilding after that.
There was some real tension in the air that night, and with his placement on the Fury versus Usyk undercard, the pressure was on.
I'm sure about the talent tape that we see. The reach also.
And when Itauma struck, you could see it sap the life straight out of McKean for a moment, staggering his balance badly.
Itauma comes in low, and he works that body.
This might have looked like a closer matchup on paper, but Itauma was light years ahead of his opponent on every front. As soon as he found his opening for a second shot, it was game over for McKean, and his attempts to get back to his feet were truly useless.
And then the second knockdown, look at that. He goes down low with the right, over the top of the left.
Moses Itauma had some supremely calm and cold energy coming into this one, like he knew something we didn't. Despite being faced with one of the toughest tests of his career, he was very clearly not bothered by this in the slightest.
Both your bending instructions at all times. When I tell you to break the ball, break clean. Defend yourselves at all times, and the best luck to you both. Touch gloves.
Was Balogun going to be the one who would upset this major prospect? Or was this once again the Moses Itauma show?
And Frank George coming to showcase in front of different...
Well, Itauma was not gunning for a 15-second KO here.
Remember, Murat Gassiev did him in two, and he might...
But unlike a coiled spring, Itauma burst out of his shell in one fluid movement, dropping Balogun to the canvas.
And he's going for it. Down goes the American inside the opening minute and a half, and he looks to his corner as if to say, watch it.
One thing that would be made clear about Balogun, though, is that he doesn't have an ounce of quit in him.
As if to say, watch us hit me. Will he get out? It's very late.
But he was truly up against it with this opponent. Make absolutely no mistake.
One didn't land cleanly to a second one, and no one very rarely does that. And it landed right on the button. 20.
In the second round, things could not have gotten off to a worse start for Balogun.
Fella outside of the ring.
Itauma just hits way too hard, and his accuracy has only improved the more experience he has earned.
Can he make it this time? The count's at 9. Brave man, Mike Balogun.
Again, we can't doubt Balogun's heart, but man, he did himself no favors by continuing to fight on.
To get up and recover, that's simple.
And there's no way the fight should continue. Finished in the second round. Moses Itauma lights up Glasgow. He did it in Saudi Arabia.
But just how far do you think this guy can actually go? Is he legitimately champ material? Let us know in the comments section below.